Do you ever feel lost? Like you're not happy with where you are, but you have no idea where you actually want to go? Today, I want to talk about starting over and how writing can become a way back to yourself when you feel lost. Hi, I'm Diane Hatz, and welcome to A Writer's Life, a space where I talk about rebuilding your life through writing, creativity, and self reflection, especially in midlife. When people talk about starting over, it often sounds decisive and empowering, like you've got clarity and confidence and a plan. And in 2 or 3 months, you're off and running into a new adventure. Well, that wasn't my experience at all. When my life fell apart, I didn't know who I was anymore, and I didn't know where I was going. The future I thought I was moving toward disappeared, and I didn't have even an inkling of an idea about what to do next. I wasn't inspired and had zero energy to do anything. I mean, I was just trying to get one foot in front of the other. So, starting over didn't begin with rebuilding my life. It began with trying not to lose myself entirely. Writing had always been on the back burner for me. I'd wanted to be a writer since I was 15 years old, but I'd put it aside for the career I'd fallen into. So once that was gone and I was completely lost, I picked up a pen for lack of anything else to do, not realizing how much it would help me heal. I was too traumatized to journal and write about how I felt about what happened to me, so I started writing stories. It's not like I finished them, but I used writing fiction as a way to explore how I was feeling and eventually the new path I wanted to take. Writing became one of the few places where I didn't have to perform, explain, or make sense of anything. I wasn't writing for anyone or toward anything. I was writing to come back to myself. I was free to create worlds and universes I wanted to be part of. There's one thing I want to be clear about because I think some people misunderstand the role writing plays on a healing journey. Writing didn't heal me. The inner work did. Writing was a tool I used to help me figure out what I wanted to do in my next chapter. It helped me process and understand what was going on inside me, so it supported my inner work. If you're wondering what the heck I'm talking about, let me explain. When I journal, I might write something like, "Went to the office today. No one spoke to me. I feel like a loser and like I've done something wrong." And I would go on and on like that. It's not bad, and that type of writing can help me get my feelings out, but sometimes I'm just too overwhelmed to write from the heart. So instead, I create a character. Let's call her Alex. She's actually the main character in my Mind Monster series. She goes into the office where she has to unzip the side of her head and take her brain out every morning because lower level staff were not allowed to think. That is actually in Rock Gods and Messy Monsters. She has a boss that yells at her all the time, so much so that he explodes blood vessels and she has to sew them back up. In the book also. Didn't actually happen, but that's what I saw. I had a boss that would yell at me. So in various versions of the scene, she sewed up her boss's neck and hated herself for it. In another, she chopped off his head. Another had her screaming back at him and throwing things, then escaping from him and that job. I got into creating different scenes with different outcomes, and eventually it helped me understand how I was feeling and helped me process my emotions. In the first version, I hated myself for staying in a job I came to understand I didn't want to be in. Frankly, it was a career I didn't want to be in. The second version helped me process my anger. That's the chopping off the head. And there was a lot of anger. And the third created hope in me that I would be able to learn to stand up for myself and leave bad situations of my own accord, not only when someone pushes me out. So don't get me wrong. If you find journaling helps, like diary journaling, by all means, get a notebook and dig deep into yourself. I would even say doing that gives you material that you can look at if you want to write fiction that you can then take and, you know, get crazy like I do with my fiction. So if you're not quite sure how you're feeling or it's too much to dive into yourself right now, just write a story. Once you get comfortable with what you're doing, let your imagination fly free. You're not writing this for anyone else to see, and you're not trying to prove anything. You're just trying to get things that are stuck in you out on paper. So don't censor yourself. Name a character and let your imagination go. And honestly, if writing isn't your thing, record yourself talking and tell your story through your voice. By doing this, I got the courage to dive into writing full time and publish books, but that might not be your path. If you're writing stories and gardening always comes up, or you're writing 10 pages about a tomato plant, maybe you want to work in or own a garden center or a farm. If you're always writing about cooking or flying or anything, your pen might be telling you what you really want to do. It could be your subconscious communicating with you and helping you find your next move. If you're like me and you realize you want to write a book, please write a book. Don't listen to all the doom and gloom about AI taking over and how no one reads anymore. Younger people are starting to go offline and are reading physical books. And there will always be a market for good stories written by a human. Writing is not an escape from yourself, even if you're writing out there speculative fiction like me. To be honest, even though my books have aliens, blood vessel explosions, pants pooping evil billionaires, spirit guys that fall to earth, and more, there's a lot of me in there. Writing, even writing stories, isn't a way to bypass pain or reinvent yourself overnight. It's a way to listen to what your inner self has to say. It's a way to figure out what you really want to do in your next chapter. When you're starting over, you don't need a new identity right away. You need orientation and grounding, and writing can help you locate yourself again. It lets you see what's true, what hurts, what's changing, and what no longer fits. Remember, starting over is not about becoming someone new. It's about finding your way back to who you already are or who you've always wanted to be. Thanks for being here, and please don't forget to subscribe for weekly videos. Until next time, stay true to you. Thank you.